This is Within Reason, and I'm Martina Morano. Tonight, I'm talking to Progressive candidate Marcia Squier. Thank you so much for being here, Marcia.
Thanks for inviting me.
So, Marcia, can you just tell us what office you're running for and why you decided to run?
I am running for the U.S. Senate in Michigan against Debbie Stabenow. Um, the reason I decided to run again is I ran for Congress last year against Brenda Lawrence, and basically seat the incumbent, obviously. But I really have this vendetta, I guess you could say, against the Clinton superdelegates of Michigan unanimously voted against the candidate that won Michigan. So I really feel like they're not representing us. And since I felt that way, I found out more things about them, like that Debbie Stabenow takes a lot of money from Wall Street and, Monsanto type work act, she co-authored that with the QR codes and the 1-800 numbers. And she's proud of that. I just can't believe that she would think that that was something to be proud of. And I just don't really feel like true issues, even in this current climate of the Trump administration. They're all busy, but Trump, and they're not really helping the people. They're down doing nothing.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. I think that there's a lot of that going on in the Democratic Party right now. So you're running as an independent.
Correct. I ran last year with the Green Party because of the lateness of Bernie's endorsement being July 12th. It was too late to get on the ballot any other way other than with the Green Party. And I liked the platform, and, the offer was open. So I took it. But this time, considering that it's a statewide race for U.S. Senate, I really feel like besides the D's and the R's, the only other letter is independence in the Senate. So, I think that, strategy wise, it's a better choice. And also, I've noticed, not only does the Republican Party have their red Kool-Aid and the Democrat Party have their blue Kool-Aid, but if I feel like the Green Party has green Kool-Aid. And, I've from the Green Party of Michigan, but from elsewhere around the country, you try to reach out to other people that aren't Greens and they get all upset and, because you're not a purist like they are, and I'm a burner, and, I wasn't really a Green, and, that Bernie got treated by the Democrats, well, he's not really a Democrat, same kind of thing, well, I'm not really a Green, I'm a burner. And it was kind of like a rebound relationship for me. But I've always been an independent voter. I never belonged to any party before. So I didn't technically Dem exit because Michigan has open primaries. So I was never a registered member of any party. I did register with the Green Party, though, to run as a candidate. But I really felt like I was running as an independent. I got little to no help. The party's really small, so I might as well just run as an independent. And that way I don't have to defend any party. I can just focus on the issues, instead of trying to bring along the baggage that all the parties have. I can criticize that and not get any flack from my party because I'm not in a party.
That makes a lot of sense on that level. I mean, personally, I like the Green platform. I can see a little bit what you're saying about. I think that there's a Green Enter movement which I support actually in principle. But I am finding that the more people I talk to, some people are saying that it's also a little hard to get access in the Green Party as well, to be able to, really get in there. It really isn't so much better. Plus, the Green Party is small and they don't have the it's not set up in every state, so that it can support something like a Senate run.
Right. It's kind
But
of like
so
catch 22, they're purposely not corporate funded, but then that also has its downside too, that they just lack resources. And I respect the Green Enter movement as well. I have a candidate group that I formed, Your Name for Office 2018. I don't care what letter is next to your name. 90% of the people in that group are green candidates. I just want more people to run. And you know your race better than me. If you think that you have a better chance running in a certain party, then go for it. To each his own. And but the Michigan Greens did have 5 winners elected last year. So, but they were all down ballot. And so, but my focus is really on the federal laws and the federal representation. I think that we need to be of the people at all levels. And I don't want to focus on the down ballot. My concern is with the laws that affect all of us, not just my local town.
So on that note, let's talk a little bit about your platform then. So you're running for Senate, which is federal. What's your position on foreign policy?
On foreign policy, I am a very anti-war candidate, pro-peace. I would refuse any and all donations from the military-industrial complex. Similarly to the Green Platform, I want to reduce military spending and thus reduce the refugee crisis. I think that we need, I would love to see a weapons embargo, period. Like, I don't want to export weapons of any kind to anybody, whether it be bombing someone or sending someone bombs so they can bomb someone. I'm very much against that. I think that we need to invest in feeding people and sheltering people instead of bombing them and destroying their lives and their livelihood.
Great. I think that's right in line with progressive values. And so the rest of your platform is progressive as well, because obviously foreign policy, Bernie Sanders is not quite eye to eye with the progressive movement. So, which is why I asked you that question.
I'd say my domestic policy is more in line with Bernie's, but I think my foreign policy is a bit stronger as far as, the Bernie platform, because I will openly speak out against it, kind of like Tulsi Gabbard. I'm more like her with foreign policy.
Okay. Oh gosh, what was that? Right. It was right here. What I wanted to ask you next about. Oh, so again, more about your policy. So what are some things in your platform that you're really excited to get out to people, the ideas?
One of the things that I really think is important is medical reform. With the whole Obamacare, the ACA repeal and replace going on right now, it's a really hot button issue. And I really feel like, the move towards single payer, or, there's other words for it too, your universal health care, Medicare for all, public option, that's all the same thing. I think that's really the way to go. And I think, also though, with that, we need to decriminalize cannabis, because that would also reduce healthcare costs for people to be able to get that life-saving herbal remedy, at a reasonable rate. I think that adults should be able to grow it in their backyard, and I think that sellers should be able to claim it as legal income. So not only would it help with medical needs, but it would also automatically reduce the unemployment rate, because those people are making income. They're just not claiming it. And we could also reduce drug trafficking and the need for a wall. And, there's so many things that go hand in hand with cannabis and hemp. Hemp has so many uses that, I think if I tie it into the medical reform, that's a great way to get it off the ground on the federal level.
That definitely sounds good. I'm personally very much for universal health care myself, and single payer in particular. So switching topics just a little bit. So you're actually the first female candidate that I have the pleasure of interviewing, and And not to take away from the male candidates I've interviewed, who I think are fantastic and very inspiring. I I personally have one child, a small child, and I understand that you have a large family. So I am really interested in hearing about unique challenges that are posed to women who are running for office.
So yeah, I have four kids, three daughters and a stepson. We've had custody of our son since he was 5, and he's 13 now. So I consider him to be my son, 365 days a year. And so we're in a blended family. My husband and I both had a kid when we met, and then we have two together. And I have full custody of my daughter as well. So we don't have some of the issues that blended families have. Like my daughter and his son never go see their other parent or anything like that. So it's kind of like a nuclear family in the sense that, there's one mom and one dad. And, I work part-time around my kids' schedule. Um, I teach the exercise programs to kids all over Metro Detroit. And I'm also the equipment manager. So I teach about 100 kids a week. So like, four at home is nothing compared to how many kids I'm seeing in the week. But, like really Bernie woke something up inside of me when he basically like invited us to run for office. I do spend a couple hours a day on my phone nowadays, ever since I quit TV last year. And, so at least I'm doing something with it. I'm not just playing games on my phone or watching YouTube videos of music videos or something. I'm doing something productive with the time that I would ordinarily be watching TV. So I don't think it's like that much extra time out of my day to be online a few hours a day networking, because like I said, I would have been doing something else anyway prior to having been woken.
So, how do you think your experience as a parent and as a teacher informs your political beliefs and makes you a strong leader?
Well, I think like the thing I like about working with kids is that they're colorblind. I work at some schools that are all white. I work at some schools that are all black. I work at some mixed schools where kids don't even speak English, and they love each other and they love me and I love them, and nobody cares about what color anybody's skin color is, and they're just friends with each other. It gives me hope for the future, that these kids, they're so innocent and they don't have no idea what's going on politically or anything. They don't know what it's like to get gas in your car. They don't understand things that we're fighting for as parents, in this economy. And so like they inspire me to try to make it better, because this is one of the first generations where the kids aren't doing as well as their parents. They're doing worse. And so, that's who I'm fighting for, is the people who aren't old enough to vote yet.
So, on that note, what are some of the most common concerns that you're hearing from your base, your voter base, and how do you intend to address them if you get into office?
So one, I try to come up with, different issues and kind of let my friends discuss. And so I can get, I'm more of a listener. I don't really like to dictate. I'm listening to the 99% and I'm hearing what they say. And, I thought, like, for example, that term limits was pretty widely accepted, so I put something out there about term limits and it's mixed. I was kind of surprised to see that some people don't support term limits, but I think that boils down to what my constituents, how they feel, so I would go with, if Michigan wants term limits, then, I'm going to go with it, because I could see both sides of the issue on that. We've got Governor Snyder here with the whole Flint water crisis thing. I am so happy that guy is term limited out next year. I'm so happy. But then you got people like Bernie who wouldn't even be in the Senate anymore if we had term limits, but, so it's, that's one issue. I've noticed though, even with last year when I campaigned, I'm really not a controversial candidate. People are like, yeah, I like you and I'm going to vote for you and I'm going to tell my friends about you because I'm a real person. I'm sincere. It's in my heart. This campaign, it's my love for my country and my state and my hometown. And like when I went to every dispensary on 8 Mile Road in Detroit, and that was my district, and on the east side of Detroit, they all endorsed my campaign. So happy to see me. There's no candidates going in there telling them they got their back. Nobody's out there at the strip clubs telling those girls, you should have a legal income. And, the consenting adults laws they're from the 60s. I'm going to fight for you guys. And, I just feel like when you reach out to even like a fast food restaurant and you tell them, hey, I'm in the fight for 15 also, I don't even make that much for you. And I'm going to fight for you. And they really appreciate that, So I feel like, my listening skills have been serving me well because I don't go around things that they don't agree with already. It's further hear them. I'm not blinded by corporate donors or deafened, that I can actually listen to the people and what they really want.
Right. I was actually going to ask you because I think I saw that you're a strong proponent for Fight for 15. So, do you have any ideas for trying to help that along in Michigan?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I recently heard about this other movement called the Fight for 50,000 a year on good careers, skilled opposed to low level jobs. Disparage those workers, but I think that we should be fighting for better careers in the medical field or education, infrastructure improvements. We need more journeymen out there. I'm a big proponent of education for all as well, through 12 right now. And I myself had a full academic scholarship to college. The student debt that a lot of people my age have, I appreciate the free education I received, and I believe that everybody deserves that opportunity. I wouldn't be opposed to like a voucher system for that. Like if necessarily you didn't want to go to college, but you wanted to go to a trade school, we should expand the K through 12 program to be like K through 16 or something, to where you can get more than a high school diploma. And so you can get those jobs that offer more than minimum wage.
That sounds amazing. And I know that was definitely something that I was feeling during the election, that, like community colleges should already be free to attend, I would think. And there should definitely be a lot more subsidizing going on of state schools across borders. But
Right.
so, I mean, that's a change that I know I would like to see. And I'm glad that there are candidates who are pushing for that as well.
Yeah,
So
we need a more educated workforce. We need, education prevents prison. So, and low level jobs, low paying jobs. You got to try to strive for better, and some people just don't have that opportunity.
yeah, definitely. So can you describe some of the challenges that you've faced running grassroots campaigns that you think other people who are considering running should be aware of?
I would say the news outlets, even the local news. I was at a couple of events that I helped organize and I was part of, like an water rally for water in Detroit. And there was, we had some local news coverage there. As soon as I told him I was like a third party candidate and I was helping with the event, they literally walked away from me. Like they were not even like interested in interviewing me at all. So you definitely have to act like it's the 1890s, but with the internet, and rely on people like you for, good, decent interviews for people because, the mainstream media outlets, they're billionaire blogs, so they don't want us in. And so they're not going to help us get there. We got to do it ourselves, but that's in a way, that's part of the beauty of it. And running independent, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge because I need 30,000 approved signatures, and I have a 6-month window to get those signatures. But the Green Party here has ballot access already. So I could just go with the Green Party and get on the ballot. But going out there and getting 30 to 60,000 signatures is going to force me to get out there and get my name out there and do it the old fashioned way, and 30,000 signatures off the rip before the, July of 2018 is a great start. Just getting on the ballot, so that kind of forces me into the field, not just online, but I've got a lot of help. Running last year, I think really helped a lot. I got a lot of followers since last summer, and I've got people all over the country and in Michigan. I've got about 90 volunteers already in just a couple of weeks of people that are excited and wanting to help, and all over the state of Michigan, they can be helping me get ballot access. And that was one thing that Jill inspired me on that, actually, because she had to fight for ballot access in so many states besides Michigan. And it was the burners that helped put her over the top. I'll be honest. They helped get her on the ballot in a bunch of states. So I feel like those are the people, that's my family. The burners, that's my family. The people that are getting things done. So I feel like, if I've got 50 people all across the state that are gung-ho that can help me get signatures, then I really stand a chance, even though it's grassroots.
Yeah, I've heard that from other candidates that the signatures are a huge, huge deal. And, some of the other candidates have advised, get 2 or 3 times the amount that you need because they find any reason at all to throw them out. So,
Yeah.
that. So all the signatures.
We had marijuana we tried to get marijuana on the ballot last year in Michigan for recreational. We have it already for medical, but they threw out some signatures that were over 180 days old, and then they didn't have enough signatures.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, I'm not going to start collecting signatures until later. I need to get some more support first and a bigger network first. So that way I'm not just spinning my wheels and signatures. Like, what's the point? I'm aiming for 60,000. The maximum is 60,000 and the minimum is 30,000. So I'm shooting for the maximum. That way, even if they throw them out, then I hopefully will still have the minimum. And if not, the strategy.
So they all have to be constituents?
I just think they just have to be registered voters. Michigan has open primaries, so it doesn't really matter, any kind of party affiliation or anything like that. But
okay. So finally, how can people, well, first I should ask if there's anything that you're really dying to say that we didn't cover.
Let me think. Well, I set up a crowd pack. So I am accepting donations of $27, and because it's code. And I always said, like, I had told myself as soon as I get $200 in my war chest, then I'm going to open my checking account and file with the FEC. Like right now, I haven't filed yet, so it's not technically official. But today, I hit $200 on CrowdPack. So I'm going to be going to a credit union, not a bank, because of no DAPL. I'm against pipelines, and so I'm doing that in solidarity with, Standing Rock. I'm going to go to my local credit union and open my campaign checking account and file with the FEC. So I guess that would probably be the last thing that I would want to mention, that.
Yep, that was going to be my final question, actually.
I want 100% renewables ASAP. No more pipelines.
Yes. But yeah, that was going to be my last question, actually, about how people can donate to or otherwise help your campaign. So do you want to just tell us what the Crowd Pack site is? And I'll put everything in the description of the video, but just so people can hear it.
It's Marcia Squier, independent candidate for U.S. Senate in Michigan. And you can find me on there. I was looking at it today at the other candidates. There's a Republican on there that's talking about our First Amendment rights to own guns. No, Second Amendment. So, he might want to brush up on his Constitution before he runs for Senate. But, and then we got somebody like Kid Rock. They're trying to draft Kid Rock to run for Senate up here. But I don't know. I just don't want the guy who wrote Yodeling in the Valley to be my senator. I'm sorry. I just don't. We need to be of the people, but he's not of the people. He is rich. He's a 1%er. He doesn't know the struggles that we face. He has been rich for 20 years. He is out of the loop on getting in touch with the people. I know that, he loves Michigan, but I just don't really feel like he understands the issues, that we face.
Yeah, I mean, I hear he would be like a libertarian if he was going to run, from what I understand.
They got him on Crowd Pack as a Republican. I don't know, because of Trump, because he's a Trump supporter, and Trump's the new Republican Party.
I don't even have anything to say to that.
I just don't want Kid Rock to be my senator. I'm sorry. I think I'd make a way better choice. Way better than Debbie Stabenow. I actually voted for Debbie all 3 times. And it was only this last year that I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I voted for that. I voted for the woman who co-wrote the Dark Act. I voted for the woman who unanimously voted against the candidate who won her state. Our superdelegates count for 9,000 something votes apiece. And there was 17 of them. They effectively deleted 150,000 votes for Bernie. That's just a load of bull to me. I can't believe she is not representing us. She's opensecrets.org. Look up her name. She's taken all kinds of money from Wall Street and health insurance companies. And she ain't fighting for universal health care or to legalize marijuana or the fight for 15. All she's doing is resisting Trump. Come on. Can we just not have Clintonites in office anymore? They need to go.
I'm ready to get there as well. But for people who might not know, can you explain what the Dark Act is?
It's the Denying Americans Right to Know Act. It has to do with GMO labeling, which is genetically modified food. And there was a push to require it. The first bill got defeated. The second bill was subsequently signed, which she co-authored, which companies don't have to label it, but they can put a QR code on it and a 1-800 number. So if you've got your smartphone and you've got data available on your smartphone or minutes available, you can call the number or scan the barcode the whole time you're shopping on every different product. It's an incredible inconvenience where the same amount of ink could be the label that it's non-GMO food. It's just supporting companies like Monsanto, agricultural companies, many of the seeds, the heirloom seeds, and they also own Roundup. And the thing, I don't like about insecticide is it kills the bees, and they're also their genetically modified food is resistant to the pesticides to our food that we consume. So for those that don't know about the Dark Act, hopefully I helped shed some light on that.
Okay, so once again, Marcia Squier, thank you so much, Marcia. I really hope that regardless of the outcome of your election, you'll come back and talk to me again, because there's so much else I wanted to ask you about, a lot of other subjects. So and I'm really interested to hear where you're going next, if not to the Senate, which I hope that. I don't know if I could really say that, but I guess so. I hope that you get your seat.
If I don't win next year, I'll be going after Gary Peters in 2020. I already know.
Well, it's good to see that someone is out there fighting, and I'm sure that the people in Michigan are really appreciating that. So thank you again. And when is your election?
It's November of 2018. So I got about a year and a half, pardon, for such a big race. It's statewide. So mostly online work, legwork right now. And then starting like August, September, I'm going to be going on the road like to the UP, to the Upper Peninsula, excuse me, and hitting some colleges up there and things like that. I've got a couple campaign manager type volunteers up there that are setting things up for me. School gets back in, and so I got time to raise money. And I know, like my last campaign, I didn't even ask for money. The Green Party of Michigan, and that was it. I got my 3,000 business cards, and I passed them all out, and I got almost 4,000 votes. I knew with only 3 months to campaign, of winning were pretty slim. So I felt guilty asking for people's money, knowing that I had like just a couple of months to get the word out. So this time around, all big corporate donations and things like that, but I am asking for individual donations because that way I can buy literature and I can pay for travel expenses to get to the Upper Peninsula. It's a long drive, and those kind of things cost money, and I'd like to get maybe some wearables too, to like for in exchange for donating. So like I said, I just hate asking for money for people. Like I'd like to have T-shirts, so if you donate, then you get a T-shirt, instead of just like you just donate.
Right. Well, that sounds fair.
Yeah.
So thank you again for being on Within Reason, and I hope to talk to you soon.